Just a note before we start this episode, you can definitely hear the air conditioner coming through my voice in this. I am working on how to solve that problem. But I took multiple takes of this episode and I couldn't figure it out here, but I did in the future. Thanks for the patience. Welcome back again, deckheads. Thanks again for coming back for another episode of Cast a Commotion. Um, a little bit of news. Obviously, it's been a month since the last episode, so that's not super great. But, sorry, checking my distance from the mic because I have to do a whole new configuration because it's getting kind of warm. I live in a bungalow, and that means I got to have an air conditioner. So I have to turn down the gain quite a bit from my winter recording. Beyond that, it's been a month, and that was all because I kind of picked up a second gig trying to make some money so I could justify taking more time off so I could go to a pro quest, multiple pro quests this season to try to qualify. As you may or may not know, in the last RTN season, I have busted out. Absolutely no success that season with Levia. In between trips, I'd be practicing a new hero, and it was well worth it. I did not find Brute to be to my liking, but when I fixed up a lot and really put some nuts and bolts together, I found my hero was Max Nitro. I'm going to be going in depth with a separate specific episode. Maybe not a Cast a Commotion, but maybe something for the Patreon and way later on the YouTube channel, right? A deck tech, how I play this deck, because obviously when you see Max Nitro, you say, there's no shot. There's no way that wins a pro quest. I assure you, this wasn't just a small pro quest either. It wasn't huge, you know. I think we were upwards of, I don't know, 24 players, I think. 20 something players. Not super small, not super big, but there are pro players that showed up there. Ones that I know hit top 8 at callings, I think a couple times. So the fact that I was able to play them and win when I know they're very respectable players shows that Max Nitro is able to do it. So I'll go over some detail, but it won't be a full report or anything like that as to how I got there with that. What we're going to be talking about this time on Cast a Commotion is going to be the mindset, mentality, and drive you need in order to win a pro quest. I will also be talking about the pro quest and doing brief overviews of each match so you can know what happened. But realistically, this one's all just about the mentals. This time on Cast a Commotion, the hype was real. So, as I said last time, get myself together. Pro Quest is next. And it was. How exactly did I go about doing that? It's a lot of responsibility. Really, that's all it really was I looked at my financial situation and went, I need to make sure that I'm going to be okay if I take a lot of time off like I did for the Road to National season. Because every weekend I was taking at least one day off. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but when your budget relies on every dollar, as it should, you know, I did pick up a second gig to make sure, just dashing, nothing crazy. Did pick up a second gig to make sure that I had all the cash that I needed to pay off all the bills that I needed, to make sure I did not have that on my mind. I had no worries at home lingering about what was happening this pro quest. And in that time, I'm not saying you need to go to your doctor, but I did, and we found worry had kind of set in on me other than a few other things. So I took a lot of time to work on my diet, right? That has a lot to do with how your mind is working, how hormones are working, your day-to-day fatigue. All of these things are affected by a good diet. Switched over to low sodium. I've been on no sugar for a while. Switched all my pop over to no sugar. Everything in that line. This is such a weird thing to be talking about for a card game podcast, but this is centered around on how I feel I achieved success. I switched my diet to low sodium no sugar, so I could just not worry. Every step of my life leading up to ProQuest was, how can I take worry off of my shoulders? Because I had just taken a pretty massive loss with the Road to National season, having traveled upwards of 3,500 miles or something like that to no result. That hurt. I really wanted to go to nationals. I heard it's in Minneapolis this year. That's awesome. I mean, that would have been a good trail for me to drive down I-90, right? That would have been super fun. Seen a lot of cool things up in the north. Maybe at that time, even catch a tornado. Who knows? As afraid of them as I am, I do like seeing them. It's just kind of a weird thing. So this all stems from the fact that I did have an unsuccessful Road to National season. And if you've been having a rough time with Flesh and Blood, you've been losing a lot, you've not been on a hot streak, you lost a whole Road to National season after hitting 4 to 5 events, like any of these are applicable to anybody. Look outside of Flesh and Blood for a second. Take a step back. Start going for walks like I did. Work on your diet. Make sure that your mentals are right. Make sure that your body is in good condition to be low stress. And that will do so much more work for you than you know. Because obviously I was very stressed over a game. But it's a game that I care about. Obviously, as we've gone over before, I never did content or tried to make a store for... Well, I did make a store for Magic the Gathering, but that was at someone else's advice. But I stuck with it, and I'm turning it into a Flesh and Blood thing. So, it's okay to be a little bit stressed, but make sure to take care of yourself. All right? ProQuest is where you're going to meet a lot of new friends, see some old friends as I did over in Montana, and it's just a good time. It's just a good time. It was the Superstar Brawl that I imagined it was. Everyone who I know to be a good competitor showed up. It was like the Royal Rumble in there. So, now that we've gone over the very, very basics, check your mentals, check your health, make sure you're in a good state to travel and you're not worried about anything at home. Make sure your money's right. Make sure that your head's 100% in the game when you hit that ProQuest. That's how you earn. How do I do it? That's how you earn the Azalea playmat. Not the Azalea playmat, sorry. More specifically, the Judge, Jury, and Executioner playmat. That thing is beautiful. Striking colors, great art, good highlighting, deep shadows. I love everything about it. On top of that, you're going to get your hero card if you hit top 8. This time it was Kasai, KO, and Betsy. I ended up with the Kasai of the Golden Sands promo, the rainbow foils, what they're giving out. I kind of wish they're giving away cold foils still, but not. I won myself a box of heavy hitters, which I will be using to open this week's Unpacking the Week. And then I also won such a fantastic trophy.
Nice.
Like, I don't care what anyone says. This is the coolest thing. This shows you that this was at the Sneap store over in Montana, in Hamilton, Montana. They put on a fantastic event. I cannot speak higher of this. Come on. Focus on these little turtles. There they are. Look at those little guys. I absolutely love them. So, that all being said, if your tournament organizer puts on a fantastic event, and I mean go above and beyond, I swear to you, these guys baked cookies, set up the snacks. It was like hanging out with your friends in their basement. Like, it was just such a home-style atmosphere. But at the same time, they had a very strong judge. And were just in general, it was the most welcoming, competitive, incredible event I've been to in a hot minute. The callings are cool. Nationals are cool, but they're very official. They're very cold. I don't feel like I'm there to hang out. But man, I walked into those doors. There were smiles, food, water pop. It was just all awesome. And then more and more people that I knew came in. People were traveling from 9 hours away to hit this ProQuest. And it's just a blast. So big shout out to the Sneeps. Thank you so much for the time, effort, and energy you put in, because you made a great ProQuest showing, and honestly, in the future, I would say it's a destination ProQuest for sure. Not to not to pack your store to the gills, but I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't mind that either. So now that we know why I've been busy for the last month, I've been preparing for one of the most incredible ProQuests I've been to. I'm going to more just to try to get more gold foils. Speaking of which, there is that beautiful void on the black envelope.
Wah, wah.
Hate to see it, but at the same time, a trophy's a trophy is a trophy. I'm very happy to have added that to my collection. Proud, because now I can show that I have achieved something at least this season, no matter what. Whether or not I'm able to go to Amsterdam or not, we're gonna find out on the long end of an application for my passport. So back to business. I have gone over all of this before and how to prepare for a Road to Nationals, a ProQuest, how to get ready for higher competitive events. I, in previous episodes, went over how to defend against the Shark Arts. I did not need that this time because it was, like I said, just some great friends, longtime people I've known. Saw everybody who comes to our ProQuests and our Road to Nationals there, and it's good to make the transition to us going to them this time. Now, the actual games. I am going to give a quick rundown on the games. I'm not going to go over full in-depth details because that'll be more in the match analysis for the Max Nitro episode of whatever that is. So, first round is Rhinar. How do I go over this quickly and not too in-depth? Very standard Rhinar. Nothing out of the ordinary. No spice that I was aware of. Just very solid Blood Rush Bellow turns. It just turned out that the Nitro Mechanoid presented more value at the end game. Very, very good opponent. I cannot remember their name right now. And I shouldn't be giving names away anyway. I don't know their privacy concerns or wants, so I'm just going to skip names. Second match was Rhinar. Very to the numbers, since I was already practiced in this. From one of our strongest players in my local meta is a Rhinar player, and I get plenty of practice against this. So all I had to do was apply my new deck concepts and my new technique to this game, just like I did in the previous game, and by the numbers crushed out that Rhinar. Now, obviously, I can get high rolled, but these were average games from each of the Rhinars. There was nothing too high rolly, nothing too low rolly, just what you should expect when you're playing Rhinar. And again, the Nitro Mechanoid just beat out. Third match was Azalea. And this was a tough one. This Azalea player was, I believe, the pro player that hit top 8 at one or two callings. I'm not sure. Maybe even attended Barcelona. If I remember right, this team attended Barcelona. Very, very solid player. They explained to me that they had made a mistake in the game, but I can't see what's in their hand or on top of their deck. I just have to trust that they made a mistake. They probably explained it, but I was exhausted. As much as I harped on getting as much out of the way to make sure that you're healthy, happy, and ready to go, the night before was one of those weird nights on my schedules, and I did not get... I got an hour of sleep before, and it felt like a blink. Like I laid into my bed, I blinked, and my alarm was going off. And so I don't have a perfect memory of what happened, but I was definitely in instinct mode near the end of the day. But this Azalea presented lots of damage, lots of on hits. I don't even think I built the Mechanoid this time. I think I just got really lucky and then got a few big boost turns and Pulse Wave harpooned certain items out of their hand. I may have completed a mechanoid, but it would have been so late in the game that it barely matters. Um, so that's how that game went. After that was a pair down Katsu because there were 3-3-0s left in this pro quest, and I just got the pair down. That's all that is. Pair down is a weird word for that because I personally believe with my new build and philosophy for playing this max, Katsu's my worst matchup. He's just explosive, and I did get the mechanoid out on turn 4. It was just unlucky for him. I think he Ancestral Harmonied an Ancestral Empowerment away, and then it just proceeded like that for a while. I got kind of lucky that there weren't too aggressive turns. I got the mechanoid out on turn 4, and I just started pummeling away. I never got my high octane off, so it wasn't as explosive as I'd like it to be, but it was consistent enough, and they didn't want to block enough because they wanted to keep trying to shoot for the combos. It was just a slow beat down. Nothing too crazy here. Shortly after that comes Victor. This is my one loss for Swiss. Turn 1, I boosted away. They helped me remember. Very, very solid player. Super consistent, very well practiced, well versed, controlled and calm. Fierce competitor. They helped me remember that. I thought I boosted away all 3 of my mechanoids in the first turn. I only boosted away 2 of them. And later in the game, when I was pretty much conceded or consigned to loss, I had pitched away another mechanoid because I had to block with armor at some point to avoid dying anyway. So there was just no way for me to get the mechanoid anyway. That was just brutal. It's so demoralizing. And that brings up another point. Since we're at the end of Swiss, let's just talk about how demoralized I was at that point in time. I was riding the high of being 4-0, and first turn looking to go 5-0, I see the 2 mechanoids go away. Did that contribute to my loss? Likely. Did me almost borderline, like just straight up giving up on the game, lose me the game? Almost definitely. I was making suboptimal choices. I don't remember most of that game, which means I wasn't logging it. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't actively engaged in the game because if I can't remember it, that's just the truth. It is very hard to lock in after being hit in the face like that. Just is so hard to lock in, but you have to try your best. I was not able to. I'm human. You are too. So don't hurt yourself too bad. Don't get all upset about not being able to lock in. Just know that needs to be your objective. The second you take a hit in the face like that and your deck kind of fails you, you just need to say, I need to do what I can to be the best player that I can in the next turns. That's it. I didn't do that. I lost this round, and it showed. Luckily, after this comes a 45-minute break. My friends and I went over to a beautiful restaurant over in Hamilton, Montana. Don't remember the name of it. It was like almost literally right next door. Had a drink. Gave myself some liquid courage and liquid fortifier because damn, I was down. But some good jokes, some good times, good food, and I think I had a portobello mushroom because I was still trying to keep low sodium. So I didn't have a cheeseburger. I had a portobello mushroom, tomato. I don't know. It was grilled. It was delicious. It was kind of like a burger. Either way, low sodium, no sugar, etc. Keep my body the way it is so I'm not going through weird hormonal swings or weird sugar swings. Maintain your diet even on the road. It's so important. Also, shout out to the Sneeps for keeping a giant thing of purified like iced water or something by. It was awesome. I think I must have drank like a gallon of water in the store, not counting on the way there. Like I was, as the covenant says, hydrobrain. Definitely be drinking your water. That's really what this episode is about, is just how to maintain your composure the whole time. You have no idea how much of an impact it can have mentally on your opponent if you're just wide open, relaxed, game face on. Multiple times I caught, in every Road to Nationals and even in this Pro Quest, I caught an opponent shaking visibly. I don't know if that's from nervousness. I don't know if that's from sugar, diet. I don't know what it's from, but the point is they clearly weren't all in the game, right? So make sure to stay head in the game at all times. Stay head in the game. Okay. Doesn't matter how good you think you are. Doesn't matter whatever. You showed up to compete. Compete. All right. So we get back. We get cut into the top 8. Unfortunately, but fortunately, all 4 of my, I say all 4 of my teammates who came from my local metas showed up into the top 8. We were very surprised to see the 4th there, though, because we had been planning this for a minute, and I forgot this person was not in my Discord. They are now in there. They are now invited into there because they're local, and we like them very much. Now, it was kind of funny because we were just kind of hanging out, getting ready, settling into the store, and someone goes, "What the hell?" And they point out the door, and he's just walking out. We're like, "Dude, you could have rode with us." Next time. So, surprise challenger appeared last second. Surprise challenger appeared last second at the ProQuest. Very welcome addition. So, my local meta brought Max Nitro, KO, Uzuri, and Katsu. We're all 4 up, and it's me against the KO. I briefly consider, because me and this other person really do operate like a team when it comes to this not a sport, but you know what I mean, this game. I very briefly considered conceding this match because we both believed, and this is not him trying to convince me, it was my idea to concede because I believed he had a better match, KO had a better match against Victor. I thought if he gets paired against KO either in the finals or next round, he is guaranteed the win. I decide to just play the game through with him. And I was still up to the last second, even after technically winning the game against KO, which again was close. It was like 3-3 on the last turn. I got the Nitro Mechanoid out mid-game after keeping parity. Again, I'll go over the breakdown as to how I did that further in the Max Nitro video. But I kept parity life totals with the KO very well, and then I went full defensive and just grinded him out. Make sure to check out that video. Now, it's too late to concede at that point. I won. I'm going to carry on to the top 4. We begin watching our other teammates, the Katsu and the Uzuri. Unfortunately, Katsu has a really rough time into Uzuri. She just knocks your legs out from under you over and over, trips you up, just constant traps. Not so much like Riptide, but just enough frailty effect and enough aggro. It just whittled him down. It was just unfortunate because the Katsu player is very solid and played out of their mind that day, obviously to make the top 8. Okay, we cut the top 4. It is me against the Uzuri, the last of our local meta players. Okay, so if you've been following the podcast for a long time now, since the beginning it would have had to have been, I have played this same player in top 8s and top 4s at most of my large events that I make it into the top 8 for. And every time some extraordinarily unlucky thing happens for them, and they have yet to beat me in a high-level event in any top 8. So, to the point where they said they're going to start charging me to show up with me because they are easily a lucky charm or something. That obviously implies that I won this game. And it was just the big combo you expect from Max Nitro, just by the numbers. Uzuri couldn't go wide enough and couldn't really take anything from me, so I just ran away with the game. We move into the finals. Me and my opponent briefly discussed politics, pricing and all that. We couldn't come to a satisfactory agreement, so I said, all right, go whoop my ass real quick, because I had obviously previously really poorly lost to this Victor earlier in the match. But rightfully so, they said, come on, don't do that. You know what kind of player you are. And, so I shut up and I shuffled. Full match breakdown to be in the Max Nitro video. Sorry to keep doing that, but just a really, really rock solid game. Even with unlimited time, we only took maybe 30 minutes to play this game. We were very on top of it. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. There were some turns of thinking, but realistically, we just went at it, and I came away with the sweet fucking Sneep trophy. this fucking thing with these sweet fucking turtles on it. I'm so excited about that thing. And even some of their team commented, man, the trophy was such a bigger hit than we expected. And it's just the amount of love that has to go into your event to put together your home baked cookies, your refreshments, the smiles, and this little trophy. I'm so genuinely happy that I went to this event. It was just so much fun. All right, so that's largely how ProQuest Season 5 has started for me. More to come. And just like previously, yeah, we had Taco Bell on the way home as like a little celebration. We got stuck in the line for 45 minutes. I think there was one guy running the store, which is really unfortunate. But, you know, my plan remains the same. I need to hit ProQuests personally because I need to compete. I'm here to compete. I love Flesh and Blood for this reason. While I don't need to win anymore, I do want more gold foil trophies for my collection. I want to show that I show up to compete wherever I go. And it would be nice to get a lot of them. Now, what did I say earlier? Stay on top of it at all times. I got home, made a soup, made some sandwiches, and kept on my diet. I'm going to drill that into every single player of Flesh and Blood. I want every one of us to be as healthy as possible, contrary to what you see happening here. Still doing my best. And actually, down like 20 pounds since starting the trail again. I seem to tighten up my diet quite a bit when I need to travel. So that's good. Beyond that, we can kind of break down... I don't want to give away the full max deck. Don't want to give a lot away about it because I want to make a whole different video about it. So obviously beyond keeping my mind right, keeping my body right, and playing my mind out, playing every bit of the deck that I came to play, how did I prepare on max, right? I'm not going to talk about the deck or the specifics in this episode, but I'm going to talk about how much practice do you need? This was the last part of the equation. There's enjoyment, there's self-care, and then there's prepare. All right. What is that? ESA. Nope, that's stupid. I'm not going to make that an acronym. That's not merch for me. Someday I'll make merch. Probably closer if I get more patrons, because I actually have somebody who's trying to make a merch store or like a design company. Either way. Okay. So I realistically probably practice 4 to 5 games a week in between armories, and then when I'm at armories, sometimes 2 to 3 games before, including the armory itself. That's not the most dedication you're going to hear, right? I do have a full-time job. I did pick up a second gig, right? I don't have all the time in the world to play all the games, but I do make an effort to every single day try to play a game. That is the largest thing I can say, is you just have to get reps in, because if your hero's even remotely capable of it and you have the reps in and you've played the games and you've done the note taking and you know what you needed to figure out, right? Like, what difficulties did my deck have to overcome? Speed. What difficulties am I facing with self-design, right? What are my problems I'm running into when deck building? All more to come. This is just a giant spoiler episode for the Max Nitro episode, but it's going to be the first time I get to, not first time I get to, because I won the other RTNs, but I'm actually going to do something with this information and make some content out of it. I'm going to make this a short one. Everybody, thanks for listening to Cast a Commotion this time. Check out Crash Command Games on TCG Player and eBay. Check out that Patreon. I want to get that Patreon growing, right? If that starts to happen a bit more, I can drop the second gig, make more content. Just really, really try to help this community a lot more. I not only need to, but I really want to make more content. It's just a time crunch that is hard to do with a couple jobs and trying to run everything else. So, Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, everything. Check out everything I do on Crash Command Games at Crash Command Games. Join up, subscribe, like wherever you can if this is on your podcasting network. Make sure to subscribe, get every episode, get it downloaded automatically. Subscribe on YouTube for sure, because I am making more content there as well. You're newly qualified to the Pro Tour and reinvigorated host. Thanks you so much for watching this. Thank you, Sneeps, so much for hosting that Pro Quest and putting so much love into everything you do. Good luck, have fun out there. Check out everything that I told you to check out. Please check out everything I told you to check out. And this one is 0.